Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our Colorado Secure Savings Program. I'm Noah Comerford, the President and CEO of the Latino Chamber of Commerce. We also have our membership coordinator, Austin Walrod, and our membership and events intern, Dante Bartolo, also joining. But we are here with two special guests, Daniela and Hunter, from the Colorado Treasurer's Office to talk more about the new Colorado Secure Savings Program. So guys, take it away.
Thank you so much for having us today, and good morning, everybody. I'm excited to talk to you about the Colorado Secure Savings Program. During this presentation, we will address what it means for the employer side, what it means for the employee, and what are the next steps that we can all do to engage in this program. If you have any questions, if you could just hold it to the end and we'd be happy to answer them. So let's dive right in. By the way, I'm Daniela. I'm with the Colorado Treasury and I'm the outreach specialist. I also do presentations in Spanish, so happy to partnership with the Latino Chamber on this. And today we will talk about the retirement crisis that we currently have. So I'll move this a little down so you can see the screen. So basically these figures you can see, it explains where it comes from, the additional funding, which we need to subsidize those as they move to retirement. It's a crazy number. As you can see, 10 billion state and local and 8 billion federally. That means that currently there's more people retiring in the future as well. They did a statistics on this than the current amount of people employed. So that means taxes might increase. That means it'll affect us all around. And you can see, as mentioned, 1.3 million Coloradans currently lack access to retirement. And that's why we came into play in 2020. The state legislature passed a bill to set up a study board to examine how we can close the gap on the retirement crisis. And that's what we'll dive right in. So our program is a auto IRA program, which means it's post-tax. When you retire, you won't have to pay taxes on it, which is the best part. And if you're wondering, who does this program apply to? As it states, it applies to people with 5 or more employees. And if your business has been active for 2 or more years, we want to provide this benefit for you. It's simply to use, and we're just wanting to educate the employers and employees about retirement, because a lot of people think that just because I have my Social Security, that will be enough to retire on. And unfortunately, as you all see the markets right now and how the economy is shaping up to be with inflation increasing, this will not be enough to retire. So this is what will help businesses and employees to have that safety net when they retire. So we want to make it clear that you are not required to purchase a private retirement plan. Ours is completely free, and that's what helps the employer side. It won't be a burden. We want to take away the administrative burden from the employer side. And that's why when they did a lot of research on what's the best type of plan to have for an employer, this is what they found in the study. So how does it work? We're going to talk about now the employer side, and feel free to ask questions about this towards the end. So right now, it's pretty simple for the employer side. As you can see, the green star is what we discussed about right in between, where you have 5 or more employees and you've been in business for 2 more years. So it's really simple for the employer. There's really just 3 steps in order to get this going for the Colorado Secure Savings Program for your business. So all you have to do is register your company, register the employer. Then you will upload your employee roster to the site. And then each month you'll do the payroll remittance. It's very simple, and we looked into the timing of it. We worked with our systems administrator to allow for simple usage. It'll only take a few minutes each month. We know it as a business owners, you all are very busy, and that's why we want to make it simple. Another very important thing to point out is our program does not provide a match. So this is fully funded by the employee paycheck. So the employer doesn't have to worry about the extra financial burden of having a match. And we will talk about this more as we go into the employee side. So right here, you can see who's affected by that. Who qualifies is full-time and part-time. Now you all must be wondering what that means. So to go into details, a full-time / part-time employee counts as someone who's been in that company 180 days or more. So that means if you've been employed at your company only 100, let's say 70 days, then you do not fall under this requirement. The employees who fall under this requirement will be at that company for 180 days more. There's a lot of wonderful benefits for the employee. It's amazing. We're very excited to announce that we have a partnership with New Mexico as they're getting their legislation up and going hopefully soon. We want to make it easy for the employee. So imagine a retirement account that you can take anywhere. And this is the kind of retirement account we're providing. Since it's a Roth IRA, the employee is fully in control of their account. That means, if the payroll remittance, they start at a default 5%. So 5% of your paycheck will go to this retirement account. If at any point you feel there's medical burdens or other, we understand that, and we can work with our investment manager and system administrator to allow for that to be 3% or 1%. Is the employee, you control your funds. It'll go into a default target date fund, but if you're passionate about a certain company you want to invest in, that's why we have investment managers that can work with you. They're the ones who know all the markets, not us. So they will have a call center and you are able to talk to them at any time. Now, there's other benefits to the employers as well. As we mentioned, it's no cost. It's very simple. We want to have a way to compete with larger businesses, right? So if you provide this retirement plan for your employees, this can increase employee loyalty. People like to work for an employer that has benefits for them. As we mentioned, there's no match, but that's better for the employer. There's no liability, and that helps the business effectively work more, because then you don't have that extra burden every month. And we talk more about other benefits to the employer. As we mentioned, this is a public-private partnership, not a state pension system, which means there's no liability to the state. We're working with professionals in the market that understand what's going on. A lot of folks we've seen, they are nervous to invest because they don't know what to invest in. And this is through research, we've noticed that this is the best way for employees to be set up for success. We want to make it efficient and simple for them. And there's always, as mentioned, a call center in case there are financial questions that arise. Back to the employee side, this shows there still significant gaps between those who save and those who don't. And through research, we've noticed that it's a reflection sometimes of income. There could be mistrust of financial institutions or general lack of financial knowledge. And this program, we're trying to educate people financially that if they start now, they can be set up for success. We noticed also that the first 10 years someone saves for their retirement, that's their bulk of their retirement money. That's where the main 10 years, that's the most important ones to just keep the money, because it grows with compound interest. And then when you retire, you'll wake up with more success because you've saved. We've worked with other states as well. This is also in place in states like Oregon and California, and they've seen people as low as, salary of 40K a year investing in retirement. If they put as little as like $100 each month, that will help close the gap. Through research, we've seen that because of just $100, a month, they can save for their retirement. This is important to start thinking about now, as people want to be able to have time off and be able to enjoy their retirement and not have to work till like they're 90, and not just depend on Social Security. And this is why we're here to help. Through our timeline, you can see the bill, as I mentioned, passed in 2020. That set up the board and the legislation for it. Then began our implementing phase and planning phase. And currently, we just wrapped up our webinar of rulemaking. Of course, if you have any other things you want to discuss, we can talk about it in the Q&A. Also, we are always happy to hear the public suggestions on this. And we're right now into our implementing phase, as our team has now gone through, looking through. Obviously, we hired Vestwell as our system administrator, and currently in the works of figuring out the investment managers. So that way, the employees and employers can be set up for success. And we're very excited also to launch a pilot program this upcoming October, which we'll be happy to talk about in just a few minutes. So this is what we mentioned is the pilot program. We would love to have more businesses from the Pueblo region. We want to make it as diverse as possible. If you know a Spanish-speaking business, we would love to have you on board. We will create fact sheet materials, bilingual materials. Again, the phone lines will be in Spanish as well. And this pilot program is really useful for employers that just want like a step-by-step walkthrough of the retirement program. If you are a business and you think this is wonderful, you have 5 or more employees, and you don't have a retirement plan right now for your employees, this would be a great way to help, because we will walk you through each step of enrolling, how our website works, and this is also free advertisement for the business. You can get testimonial videos, and we hope to spread it around the state. So that could be good if you're a business owner and you want some free advertisement. We're very excited for this. It's going to be in October, so there's still time to enroll in this. And you can ask us for the form later on. I can share my email. The important dates of this program outside the pilot program. So we are in full implementation in January. This is when the law will go fully in effect and businesses will be able to start enrolling in the program. So January 2023, the businesses will be able to go onto the webpage that Vestwell is working on uploading for us. They'll hopefully be everything detailed there. There'll be a Q&A session. There'll also be different tabs if you're an employer and employee to direct you to the right spot, as well as we're working on translating the website in Spanish as well. And then in 2024, that's when businesses will be, required to certify or register for their exemption. So if you're a business and you already have a retirement program, you can just go onto that site and you'll be able to file your exemption. If you don't have a retirement plan, you'll be able to enroll in ours, but that's when 2024 is really when the fines start happening to the businesses that aren't complying with this rule. And we want this to be as simple as possible and helpful to the employee. As mentioned, this is an opportunity for small businesses to get step-by-step help. And if you're interested, we can discuss more. We're still working on the 1099. Obviously, those are not follow under the requirement, but folks that do want to participate in our retirement program, we're hoping to make it so they can. It's just the employer will not be able to enroll that individual that doesn't fall under the requirement. So if you're your own employee and you have your own business, you can possibly opt into this, but it'll be up to you to enroll, not the employer. And now we can open it up to questions and answers, and happy to help explain more about the law. And we're very excited to work with businesses throughout Colorado. So thank you for your time, and happy to answer any questions you may have. I see a hand, Felipe.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to, I had a couple of questions. You had mentioned that it's going to be professionally managed for
Yes.
the Roth IRA, correct?
Mhm.
Did I hear you say that you're working to find somebody to do that, or you already have somebody in place to manage that professionally?
So I can take that. I should have introduced myself. My name is Hunter Rayleigh. I'm the director of the program. We are currently finalizing our search for investment managers. So to clarify a little bit, the state serves as the fiduciary. So we take on the legal liability that businesses would otherwise have to manage, and we have an oversight board. So it's community volunteers. At some point, and they're on rotating positions. So others will be, we would encourage others to engage with that if they would like. Vestwell will handle record keeping, and then BNY Mellon is the custodial agent for the accounts. And then we are currently finalizing our search for investment managers, but the asset classes that will be offered for the Roth IRAs will be a money market fund, a target date series, a fixed income fund, and then a global equity fund.
Okay.
So pretty similar to most defined contribution plans that you would see in the private sector space, at least in terms of the asset classes. The main caveat being we're enrolling everybody in IRAs instead of 401ks, so no match, and there are contribution limits on an annual basis.
And this is regardless of anybody's age, correct? So if they're entering the workforce at 15, whether it's part-time, full-time, or whatever, they're going to start contributing to this out of their paycheck, correct?
So under federal law, so the way statute is written for the, and let me back up, because there's two distinct things here. There's what federal law says, and then how we've constructed the statute for the employer count. So for Colorado state law, for how you count your employees, they have to work at the business for 180 days or more and be over the age of 18. And
Okay.
They have to be a W-2. If they are working for you and want to participate, but they are under the age of 18, while that doesn't trigger the employee count, a parent or guardian can sign off on custody accounts for that to structure the account, but we can't auto enroll anybody who is under 18 years of age.
Okay.
We would encourage folks who are younger to do that if their parents are willing to do that. As Daniela mentioned, if your savings horizon is from 25 to from age 25 to age 65, what you save from age 25 to 35 is going to make up half of your portfolio. So the last 3/4 of your savings lifetime is trying to catch your first 10 years of saving.
Okay.
May we ask if you have 5 or more employees at your business?
No, I do not.
Oh, okay, because I was gonna say we'd love to have you part of the pilot program.
Well, we're also, so I work for New York Life as a registered rep. So we're 1099s.
Okay.
So we actually, technically in the office, we do have more than 5. So I know that the pilot program is going to include something like that. So that could be something that we could potentially look at discussing. I know, like myself, I already have a couple of different retirement accounts set up, as I'm sure most of the other agents do as well. But that could definitely be something that I could look into a little bit further and see if we could be a part of that pilot program.
Awesome. Thank you for asking those questions. Are there any others? We're happy to clarify any of the other points of like enrolling and that type of stuff.
Not from myself. You went over it in the slides about what you're looking at doing with the pilot lunch when you're doing it. Oh, the other question I had is I think I missed this part whenever I was taking some notes. There's going to be fines associated with people that don't register or put in their exempt status, correct? And did I hear you correct saying that that's going to be at the end of February 2024?
So we're gonna phase in the fines or the enforcement piece TBD, but it's going to be similar to business size just to manage the volume a little bit. Under statute, state statute, we are required to give businesses 12 months to get into compliance with this law. I think the most important thing for businesses to know here is we will be reaching out to you directly. So we have data that can show how many employees you have, where your registered addresses like that. So don't panic if you feel like you need to find stuff. We will send you letters directly at multiple points throughout 2023. Beyond that, as Daniela mentioned, working with BNY Mellon and Vestwell, they have a pretty robust call center too. And I think the average wait time in a normal flow of call-in traffic is about 90 seconds to get a live person.
Okay.
And again, given the diverse amount of languages spoken in Colorado, they have committed to providing Spanish-speaking support services as well.
Perfect.
And I can put my email in the chat as well in case you have questions in the future or you just want to reach out to us, and anything that will require more answering, I can also forward to Hunter. So just happy to, if you want to write down that email, feel free to.
Absolutely. Let me just jot that down real quick.
Others?
Yes, so I know I had asked this question last week or the week before when we were organizing the Zoom webinar, but how does the Secure Savings Program work in terms of overlap, or is an individual able to have more than one retirement plan? How does that work?
Sure. So, and that's a really good question. So the top line answer is you cannot have more than one IRA. So these are individual retirement accounts. They are tax advantaged. You can contribute up to $6,000 and then more if you're over age 50 and you want to, there's a catch up period there, but that doesn't matter so much, but you can have one IRA. If you as an employer decide to implement a 401k at a certain point, your business is growing, or you just want to have the added benefit, you can do that, and the IRA accounts don't go anywhere, and the employees can contribute to their 401k and their IRA. So, for example, I'm in the state defined contribution program. I contribute to that, and then I also max out my IRA every year. It provides one tax advantaged savings vehicle. So via a Roth, as Daniela had mentioned, those are post-tax, which means you pay the taxes on it now. So when you withdraw the money, you aren't paying taxes on it later. But we will also allow folks to recharacterize their IRA to a traditional if they have financial reasons for doing so. We aren't going to monitor those financial reasons, but there are income limits on Roth IRAs, and some folks may just prefer to have a pre-tax deduction. So we're gonna allow for that, and all it requires is just calling our program administrator when you're setting up your account, and either pre-setup you indicate that you want the traditional IRA, or once it's already up and running, then you're free to change it at any point.
Okay, good. And then my next question is, so let's say that an employee retires, leaves, gets terminated, maybe is on leave for an extended period. Does their program stop? Does it end? Are you able to resume that? How does that look?
Once they're in the system, you can stop or resume at any point. I think especially with certain industries, hospitality being one, tourism, another, where there's a lot of churn with the employees. I think it's going to be, and I just want folks to be patient, but also be transparent. It's going to be a little bit messy with people moving in and out. But once we kind of hit a critical mass, it'll be as simple as, 5 years from now, a new employee starts, you put in their social security number or their I-10, we'll be able to locate their account, and then you don't have to do anything else on the registration side. So the account goes with the employee, and if they haven't rolled over their IRA to a private vendor or something like that, we will still have it on our books and we will be able to find that.
All right, great. Thank you.
Awesome. Go ahead.
If I may, another thing that I had noticed that was mentioned is that the amount that's going to be pulled into the IRA is a predetermined amount. Did I see that accurately?
Yes. So statute has a default contribution of 5%. So when we say default, for the folks that may be watching this later, if you enroll your employees and they take no action at all, their default contribution from the get-go is going to be 5%. Their first contribution is going to go into the money market for 30 days while they're still kind of evaluating whether they want to participate in the program. And then after 30 days, it's going to get swept into the target date. And then every contribution after that is going into target date if they take no action. On the default contribution rate, we're starting at 5%, and then it's going to auto escalate by 1% every year up to 8%. I know 10% is sort of the industry standard that a lot of folks have been talking about, but our concern here is that we're dealing with a lot of non-traditional savers, and we just want to be conscientious that we're not just taking too much money, especially if they have to figure out how to rebalance their finances from the outset. But Daniela had mentioned it earlier. If they want to contribute a higher amount up to the cap, they are free to do so. If they want to contribute a lower amount, they are free to do so. We have an integrated platform and they can adjust their contribution rate.
Okay. And then is there somewhere, I'm assuming this is online, the language and the laws that's written, is there somewhere where we can do a quick grab on that?
Sure. So it's in a couple places right now. It'll be more consolidated once we launch the website, but the Colorado Secure Savings Board has a website on the Colorado Department of the Treasury webpage. That includes meeting minutes, some of the presentation materials we've gone through. I believe there's a copy of the bill as well.
Okay.
You can also, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Felipe, if you want to send me your email or put it in the chat, I can forward you a copy of our bill, and I can also forward you a fact sheet that you can distribute to your coworkers if you'd like.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be fantastic.
Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, you're fine. And we're updating the branding. So the fact sheets are going to look a bit different in about a month or so, but the one we have is good for the time being. The Colorado revised statutes are searchable online. So if you just Google it, it'll take you to a page and it'll redirect you to LexisNexis. We can, they're all found there. And then we recently went through a rulemaking hearing. So the program rules that kind of fill in the details for the statute are going to be finalized sometime in August.
Okay. All right.
But I will follow up with you in an email. So
that'd be great, Danielle. If we can just touch base and follow up on that a little bit. Definitely interested in the program. Obviously being a registered rep financial advisor myself, I've been a huge champion of people taking care of their future. So
yeah.
And I think the most important point here too is, again, this program is to create a baseline that everybody can get into, not to crowd out existing plans. There are many financial products out there for employers, and we're recommending that folks chat with either their CPA, a financial professional, or something like that, especially if they're fiduciaries. They're going to be more than happy to educate you.
Absolutely.
And I think the other piece here too is, longer term, this is going to be a joint effort, because once people have saved a bunch of money, they need to figure out how to spend it later on in life. And that's also kind of a complicated prospect as well. So we really want to work with financial services and with local community organizations to make sure that people understand what this is, that it is a state program, that their money is well tended to, and that this is going to amount to, if people are consistent and disciplined with how they save here, it's going to amount to improvements later in life. And we're going to make sure the resources are available to help everyone once they get there.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for answering the questions. Greatly appreciate it.
Of course.
And Hunter, going off of those last points you made, this is more of a looking into the future question. In maybe 10 years, what would the state like to see the program? Would it eventually get to a 401k type plan? Would it be something that employers could match? What does that look like?
So that would require changes in federal law. So the reason we can't allow employers to match is because of a federal law called ERISA. ERISA governs retirement plans, also some healthcare. But basically what that does is the person sponsoring the plan, whether it's an employer or some other entity, takes on what's called a fiduciary liability. And that creates a lot of legal requirements to and qualities of care for that money. Legally speaking, we kind of have to work around that. But what that amounts to is we can't provide a program or a plan that amounts to a 401k. And I think folks would be a little bit concerned if the state was requiring the employer to take on additional financial risk via contributions. That being said, I do think that there's different tiers of businesses, and there's a whole different arena of context that they're facing. For some, secure savings may be the only vehicle they need for their employees, and that may work for a number of people. Our hope is that some are going to grow out of it and pursue 401k options, or depending on their status, 403b or something like that. Thinking ahead in those terms, what a couple of states have put in place a marketplace similar to the ACA, where it's like a consolidated marketplace where you can shop plans and stuff like that. That might be something we'd want to think about. It hasn't gone super well in the states that have attempted it, mainly because there hasn't been a baseline savings, and it's still sort of a mystery to a lot of folks. But the hope is that in 10 years, as people start saving more, become more aware of their finances, and start tracking that a little bit more, the education level will kind of push more up into the category of, we need a more robust benefit. Our employees are asking for one, and we would like to provide one. So to answer that, our hope here is that, Daniela flagged about 1.3 million people in the state that currently lack access. We're hoping to make a significant dent in that. And then once people are saving, the sky's the limit here. There's some other changes to federal law that may benefit lower income individuals, namely the Savers Tax Credit. Not a lot of folks have been able to take advantage of it. It's pretty complicated, but they're discussing changes right now that would make that a refundable tax credit for savers. And it would also give them the option that if they're under a certain income threshold, so kind of sitting, under $50,000, they would effectively get a tax credit that would act as a de facto match, or just money back in their pocket. So that's and that would be applicable to those participating in 401k or IRA. It's based on individual income level, not the type of plan they're in. So all to say, there's a lot of things moving in this space. Most of it, I would say almost all of it, is to the benefit of the saver and the individual. So we're really excited to start getting out into the community and to Felipe's point, supporting the financial services sector and really getting the good word out that saving for your future is probably one of the most important things you can be doing right now.
Awesome, awesome. Well, anything else that you guys forgot to cover, would like to talk about?
I think we got it all. So at a high level, just remember the key things of whether or not you are eligible for this. And if you are, we will be reaching out to you directly. Enrollment will start in January, but you will have 12 months to get into compliance with that. If you're unsure if this is the best program or option for you and your employees, please speak to somebody who can help educate you on this. And then I guess finally, we'd love to come down and meet some folks in person at some point. So please let us know if that's an option. Otherwise, feel free to reach out to Daniela or myself. We are more than happy to answer any questions folks have.
All right, great. You bet. Yeah, we would love to host you down here in Pueblo. I know that's certainly a topic on a lot of people's minds, and especially as our economy is continually changing and improving for the better. I mean, a retirement plan just simply has to happen for a lot of individuals, and we have an older population. So this topic is really going to be a hot topic over the next couple of years. So we would certainly love to have you stop by real soon.
I know Danielle is planning a trip, and I know I go down to the valley quite often, and we take 25. So I would be happy to stop down there. Pueblo has really shown a lot of growth recently. You've got a great group of people down there, and we want to make sure that you guys are successful on your own terms. And I think that's the biggest thing.
Absolutely. Our weather's great, the people's great, the food's great. So come on down.
Danielle, you got to get some green chili.
Sounds good. All the best food.
All right. Well, thank you guys for the
Thank you.
time. If there's anything else that we can help with or help promote, please let us know. Otherwise, have a good rest of the week and a good weekend.
Thank you. We'll keep in touch.
Much.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Thank you, Hunter. Thank you, Daniela.
Nice to meet you. I'll email you.